Make church about me. More appeasing to me. Make it where I like coming. Make it to where it's easy for me, right? So if you're an early person, you would probably be like, Nick, can we start church at 8:30? If you like sleeping in, Nick, can we start church at 11? Can we do this? Can we try this? And what we have in our culture is a lot of people that want to make church about them. We almost have this cruise ship mentality. Anybody ever went on a cruise? A few of y'all rich people in here. Not me. I never been. I'm going on one of these. But if you've been on a cruise, what do they do? They cater everything to you, right? They have 6, 7 floors. Let's say if you don't like floor 2, floor 1 is designed for you. And if you don't like the magic show, go to the other show. And if you don't like gambling, go to the hot tub. And if you don't like the hot tub, we'll bring you chocolates. Right? And everything is designed for the consumer, right? Everything is designed so you will like it. And everything is designed so you will enjoy your cruise. And where the church has gone wrong is we've tried to do the same thing. However, this is an analogy that I've always loved, and it reads, the church is not a cruise ship where a handful of people serve everyone else who is relaxing. No, the church is a battleship where it's all hands on deck and everyone serves the mission. So we are not a cruise ship, we're a battleship, and we're all on mission for the sake of the gospel. Where the church gets into a lot of trouble is when this becomes the thought process. Someone else will do it. Right? That can become the process. Someone else will clean the church. Someone else will give. Someone else will show up. Someone else will watch the kids. Someone else will do this. Someone else will do that. Someone else will welcome people. Someone else will encourage, right? When that becomes the thought process, we're in trouble. But right after Jesus died and rose again, in the book of Acts, it showed us what the New Testament church was to look like. Acts 2:46 through 47, it says this. You want to talk about gathering together? The early church was devoted. It says every day they did what? Say that with me. Oh my goodness, that was so weak. Every day they did what? Good job. Every day they devoted themselves to meeting together in the temple and broke bread from house to house. And they ate their food like Friendsgiving with joyful and sincere hearts, praising God and enjoying the favor of all the people. Every day the Lord added to the number those who were being saved. Every day the Lord added to their number those that were being saved. That's what I want to see here. But you know what that takes? Devotion from us all. It takes devotion not only from a few of us, because if a few of us only do it, you know what that creates? Burnout. If there's only a few people that serve the whole mission, then that creates burnout within the church. But I believe we should be devoted, because it's not just about me, and it's not just about you. It's about the kingdom of God, right? It's about the kingdom, and in the kingdom, it takes all of us being connected. The church is to be like soldiers who are going to war, and the last thing that we want in a war is to be somewhere alone where the enemy can pick you off. I don't want to be in war alone. I don't want to be in war by myself. I don't want to be under attack by myself, right? But far too often in the church, we have far too many people that are under attack and doing it themselves. They're just trying to provide their own strength. They're trying to provide their own way. No, when you are under attack, who shows up matters, right? Like I've said this time and time again, but earlier in my life when I was under attack and Jews showed up, all of a sudden people stopped fighting. They was like, Jews on your side? We didn't know that. That was my ace card that I ought to pull out. I'd be like, yeah, my boy down. The church should operate the same way. My prayer warriors are praying. That was me, not you. I am Maximus Aurelius. But I knew I had Jews showing up at any minute, so I'm acting tough, like, hold me back, hold me back. And then Jew shows up, I'm like, what was all that talking? Right? But that's the way we should be in the church. Because when we call, look, I know my people are praying. I know my people are coming. I know my people are there for me. I know my people got my back. I know they're for me. I know they're with me. Because when I know people are praying for me, that changes perspective, right? When I know my people will really show up, that changes the whole battle. And no longer am I going to it alone, but I'm going into it with a community of people who will battle with me and for me. And that's why verse 24 says this. Let us consider one another. When's the last time you've considered someone else? Let us consider one another. Why? In order to provoke love and good works. That's why we are to consider one another. In community, we are to consider each other. We are to encourage each other. And here are some practical ways that I think we can do this. You see a mom bring her kids to church, encourage her. Because you don't know the battle she probably faced that morning. You see a parent bring their kids to church, encourage them. It matters, right? You see someone's life changing, encourage them. You see someone show up to church for the first time, encourage them, right? Hey, keep coming back. You see someone that hasn't been here in a while, encourage them, right? So those are all practical ways that I feel like we can apply and we can be a part of the encouragement culture, because far too often the world encourages far more than the church. Because one thing I always liked about AA and NA is you can be one day sober and they will encourage you. Hey, we're glad you made it. But in the church, if you're one day sober, it doesn't have that same enthusiasm. It doesn't have that same encouragement like, hey, one day's better than no days. Hey, we're just glad you came, broken and all. So there's plenty you can find to encourage people about, but far too often we can find things to complain about, right? So here's how I believe that the church should work, like a puzzle piece. This was my made-up puzzle, you didn't know. I believe that the church should function like a puzzle, right? And I believe that all pieces should fit together. This is what connection looks like. So there are some people that will serve on the clean team. And then there are other people that will serve on the worship team, right? And then there's people that will serve in kids ministry. And then there's the prayer team and the greeting team. But what if you took one of these away, right? Like, what if you had a clean church but not a praying church? That would matter, right? And what if you had a kids ministry but not a worshiping? That would matter, right? And what if you had a kids ministry church but again, not a worshiping church? That would matter, right? So every piece of the puzzle in community should be connected. It should be a part of. But what I'm afraid the missing piece is always the one right here. The missing piece may be you. The missing piece in the local church may be you. Because if you are not using your gifts, if you are not connected, and all you do is complain rather than connect, then you may be that missing piece. You know why I know that? Because God may give you the best idea ever. And God may have given you a gift that the church needs. But if you just sit and use it for yourself, or you just hide it, then nobody benefits but you. This is called to be connected together like a puzzle. My general rule in life is this, and this is being a part of the church, because I used to be the one that complained. I used to be the one that would go in and pick the church apart while I did nothing for 5 years. So I would just complain. Well, nobody greeted me. Meanwhile, I sit on the back row and left 10 minutes early. But I would say nobody greeted me. And then I would say, well, they didn't really get to know me. And I didn't never talk to nobody. So I would just sit and complain rather than connect. So here's the advice that I've established throughout the years. If I don't feel welcomed, I ask myself, was I welcoming to other people? I want to be a part of the connection. I want to be a part of the change. And I want to ask myself, how can I help? How can I serve, right? How can I be a part of? Whether that's the clean team, whether that's taking out trash, whether that's serving in kids ministry, the question that we should always ask ourselves is, how do we play a part in the kingdom? How do we play a part in community? And far too often, again, what the enemy would like us to focus on is the complaint rather than the connection. Is the complaint rather than the connection. So imagine if you did this. You came to Friendsgiving. Imagine if you didn't bring anything. You just came, which, hey, I'm glad you came. But imagine if you was just like, who cooked this ham? It was nasty. And who cooked this strawberry? You wouldn't have said that about that one, but but imagine if that was you, right? I'm trying to give me another one of those. And those chocolate cupcakes with the cookie on. I was like, this was a bad time to diet. I always pick the worst time to go on diets, like Thanksgiving. And it always defeats me, right? Thanksgiving and me is 4. Thanksgiving is 5, I'm 0. But think about if you just showed up, didn't bring nothing, but you just picked apart what was wrong with every single dish. Sometimes that's what the church can look like. Sometimes that's what we can look like when it's all about me instead of about we. Because you, again, you may have the exact gift that the church needs. And you may be that missing link. And God may have given you the next idea to, hey, Nick, can we start a budgeting class? Can we start a marriage class? Can we do this, right? Well, maybe God laid that on your heart for a reason. But if you don't never get involved, how will you know? If you're never connected, will you know? Because, again, I believe we live in a generation where it's much easier to complain than encourage. But notice he says this again in verse 25. Verse 25 says, we need to gather to encourage each other, and all the more as you see the day approaching. I believe he says that because as a church, we should be known for encouragement. And I believe that far too often the church is far too loud when someone is doing something wrong and not quite loud enough when they are doing something right. Someone does something wrong, it spreads like wildfire. Someone starts serving, no one even acknowledges it. Someone relapses, everyone tells everyone. Someone shows up consistently, no one even acknowledges it. Someone does something wrong, the whole church knows, everyone and their mama knows, everyone's playing phone tag, but someone comes back to church that ain't been here in a while, and it's like, I'm surprised they showed up. Why don't we have that same encouragement, right? that same level intensity as when someone does something right as when they did something wrong. So what I want us to do and challenge us to do this week, because I want us to be a part of the change, I want you to thank 3 people who have encouraged you. I want you to thank 3 people who have encouraged you this week. And then when you get done with thanking 3 people, I want you to then encourage 3 people. And it may be a simple text that reads, hey, thank you for not giving up on me. Because far too often, you know what we do? We wait until the funeral to say that. We wait until someone's on their deathbed and then we try to thank them. But encouragement should be a practice that you and I do. So send that text today. Hey, thank you for not giving up on me when it would have been easy to. Thank you for telling me the truth when it was hard and I didn't want to listen. Thank you for showing up to the hospital when I was in there. Thank you for helping me out in that season. And look, I'll start right now because I think encouragement should be normal. David, thank you for getting here at 8 o'clock on Sunday mornings to make us coffee. Right? You know why that matters? Because it sets the tone for the church. David doesn't have to do that. He gets to be a part of. He gets to church 2.5 hours early on his day off so that you can come in and have a glass of coffee. So that you can come in and have a cup of coffee. I'm afraid that some of you will be like, just get a K-cup. What's the big deal? Just get a K-cup. Make your own. Glad that's not David's mentality. Carolyn, thank you for making that strawberry crunch cake. You are a blessing to me and everyone you meet. But really, yesterday, like I showed up, Scott, thank you for working on the church. Scott was here yesterday when I came in the morning. Then when I came back in the evening, he was still here. And none of y'all would even have known that if I didn't say it. That's what encouragement looks like, right? Elizabeth, I don't know if she's in here. Maybe. She's out there with the worship team probably. She cleans the church every Tuesday night. Sweeping in the sanctuary, cleaning upstairs. That matters, right? That matters. And Amber, thank you for getting 30 baskets together for Thanksgiving. Yeah. As a church, we got to play a part of that. We got to give out 30 baskets for Thanksgiving because Amber had that idea. That wasn't my idea. Amber sent a text out and said, Nick, I think we should do this. Guess what? We did it. Thank you, Amber, for serving. Jason, thank you for cutting the grass. It's a big deal, right? Jason cuts the grass, has edged everything out there. He takes time from his work schedule. He takes time away from his family. And he comes to the church and cuts the grass. And guess what? He doesn't charge a dime. He saves the church money by doing that. Praise God. Junior painted the lines outside. Thank you. Because I didn't know where to park when I first got here. Some of y'all was parking in the wrong parking spots. Because we didn't have not one line. Serving matters, guys. Being connected in community matters. Being a part of matters. And when you are not using your gift, not only do you miss out, we miss out. The whole church misses out. So when we go through seasons of life, encouragement always matters. And we want to be connected because when we consider one another, the church is stronger. The church is stronger. But in the church, I'm afraid that we have too many wavering and wondering and doing life alone people, and not enough I'm in the trenches with you people. I want to know who's in the trenches with me when I'm in the trenches. I want to know who's going to war for me when I'm in war. Like I want y'all to, like, she doesn't want any credit for this, but this is encouragement this week. Christopher was sick on Friday. Guess what Jessica Lee did so me and Donna could come and be a part of Friendsgiving? She went and watched Christopher for us. Without even us asking, said, hey, I want y'all to be able to go. I want y'all to be able to do that, because last year, Jonna had to miss because Christopher was sick last year too. But this year, Jessica on her own said, hey, can I do this for you? That matters, right? That was an encouragement to me. That was an encouragement to my family. That's what community looks like. And I think, like, what are some other practical ways that we can do this? You see a family, maybe say, hey, do you need a babysitter so you could go on a date night? Is there anything that we could do for you? Is there any way that we can serve you in this season? But far too often, what do? We just think about our own problems, our own worries, and our own battles. But no, we're in battle together. But truth is, we don't do this perfect, and we never will. Because the church is flawed. And I am flawed, and people are flawed. But look at this picture. I think we got a picture coming up. And tell me why that lion protected that particular zebra. He attacked that particular zebra because it was by itself. It was by itself on its own little journey, on its own little way, probably thinking, I'm free. And he didn't even know he was lunch meat. And he was under attack. If he would have stayed connected, if he would have stayed a part of, that picture probably would have looked completely different. And look, I don't care how strong you think you are, you will go through a season where you need real community. And what the enemy does far too often is he says, hey, don't let anybody in. Don't be a part of. Don't be connected. Because when he does that, what do? We isolate, we disconnect, and then we believe the lies that the enemy is telling us. The truth is, worship team, you can come up. We need people around us to remind us that we need Jesus. We need people around us to hold us accountable. We need people around us, guys, to hold us accountable. We need people around us to point us to truth when we don't want to hear it. We need people around us that love us enough to say, hey, I'm worried about you. We need people around us to pray for us. We need people around us that care about us. We need people around us to say, hey, I love you and I'm with you and I'm walking with you through this all. Redemption Place, I want you to know that your devotion matters. You being devoted or not devoted matters. When we give together, you know what we can do? Way more. When we do life together, you know what we can do? Way more. And when we are all in together, revival happens. When we are all in together, revival happens. So what I want us to do today is going to be a little different. Introverts, beware. What I want us to do today is do something a little different. Jessica's about to leave right now. Prayer team, thank you. I want us, the worship team plays this last song, to join hands as a family. It's going to show we're connected. We're in this together. We're in the battle together. Because you know why? We all need Jesus. We all need Jesus. And one day I pray that we're in heaven, locked arms together. I pray that we're in heaven worshiping together, because how we was devoted right now. Each one of us, we need community. We need to be connected, because that is what really matters. So you can stand up. All hands together. Let us worship a good